Good afternoon. I'm doing something a little special. The community I have on YouTube was a real blessing this week when I came against certain challenges, and I thought it would be a neat idea to start giving a sneak preview. Um, so I'm going to actually open up YouTube and my broadcast and make sure that this is working. And I'm also going to do this on Facebook, and I'm going to give you a sneak preview and behind the scenes look at the broadcast that I will be doing this Wednesday. So I'm actually going to go ahead, and it looks like I'm live now, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to take you through some chapters and why I'm doing this particular broadcast, and give you some insight as to what we're doing and where we're going to go. Now, the reason for this broadcast has to do with a recent YouTube that was released by Tovia Singer. I'm going to bring up the volume here. Um, and go ahead and give you what we can end up doing. But he released a recent uh, uh, video on Isaiah 53, really presenting a position related to Isaiah 53 that's been around for a while, but he intended to do it a little bit differently. Um, and so I'm making sure that that this works because I'm doing this from Minicam for the first time and really working more with Minicam. And so let me get to this in just a second. I'm just kind of curious as to whether you can see yourself when you're on Minicam, because some of you will go ahead and go on chat. And so I want to give that opportunity if anyone's there. Hey, there are folks there. Nate is in the house. Special thanks to Nate, your real encouragement. And I thought, it'd be cool to give a behind the scenes look, go over how I crafted this and why I crafted this. Now, I hear from YouTube that I've got to go in and put the thumbnails and all that stuff after the broadcast. Um, but let's take a look. Now, I've set this up in chapters because I thought the story of why Tovia Singer is wrong and why he appears to think that the sages of Israel are dumb. Because if we follow his arguments, they would be as guilty of misunderstanding Isaiah 53 as you are. And so let's look at where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. Now, I'm not going to play Rabbi Singer's clip um, because I'm going to save that. And by the way, I got to the place where he was repeating himself for the third time and offering very little evidence. Because while I want to be fair to Rabbi Singer, um, really, you don't want to feel like you have to go out and get a cup of popcorn and like you've heard that for the 14th time. And so what I did is I tried to isolate the main argument from all the continuous banter, and because he repeats himself. And so that's the clip you're going to get. Let's look at the chapters. We're going to hear from Rabbi Singer. I am big on doing apologetics in an honest manner. So you're going to get a clip of this video. I took the main body of it, and that's going to really be chapter 1, where we actually hear from our detractor. Chapter 2 is Tovia is believing that the sages of Israel are stupid. We're going to look at the Jewish scholarship going from ancient even into the medieval as far as how they interpreted Isaiah 53. Because if it's true, sorry about the typo, I just saw that. I will fix that even as we speak. If it's true that we're misinterpreting this because we are so dumb and we're not paying attention, then those who interpreted that way before, we need to examine. I mean, is this a unique idea? Where did we get this from? Did this idea appear out of nowhere? So that's going to be chapter 2. Now, that's a pretty lengthy chapter because I'm going to go ahead and do a real live look at a sampling of Jewish scholarship. Um, then we're going to actually get into Isaiah 53. Now, he talks about the context and how you couldn't possibly think this was Messiah because, after all, any 5-year-old knows that we take the context in. And we're going to look at some interpretive points that Rabbi Singer is ignoring. which center around grammar and context, interestingly enough, which he thinks makes his entire case. The PowerPoint will be available early for some, but you're still going to get it. By the way, I created several canvases in Logos in the interpretive part of this that will be available too. Now, available in two ways. I promised electronic postcards to my Patreon folks, and I couldn't do that. So I made those available early. But I am willing to send anybody who wants it PDFs of those, or actually they'd be GIFs of those, so for their own library. So you can have the PowerPoint and the other material. And I spent a good deal of time in Isaiah 50 through 53 with the actual flow of the Hebrew text. You will see some Hebrew, you will hear some Hebrew. Rabbi Singer loves to go ahead and quote Hebrew because I think it makes him think he's more of an expert. I have blown up the Hebrew so I can see the vowel pointings. I'm about due for a new set of glasses if I can afford them, and that will make it a little easier to see the Nikudot. Sorry, 57-year-old eyes, Rabbi Singer. You can go ahead and comment on that if you like. But that's chapter 3, and we're going to spend a good deal of time there. Chapter 4 is really going to be dealing with Isaiah 50. That's going to be very important to the flow and the exegesis of Isaiah. So when he's talking about the context, there's something that goes on in chapter 50 that really changes the entire picture that is not part of his reasoning at all. So we're actually going to look at Isaiah 50, and we're going to look at the term servant. We're going to follow it through 50, and then we're going to see where it's used again as far as the flow from 50 to 54. Then we're going to go ahead, actually the end of 53, to be honest. And then we're going to draw some conclusions about what Rabbi Singer thinks is so terribly obvious. You're going to hear some Yiddish and Hebrew. Kindle is Yiddish for children, and he tries to come off more affectionate, uses Kindle, and that's all very lovely, and I appreciate him using the term Kindle. It doesn't make him any more right or any more wrong. But it's nice that he likes to think of his viewers as mere children. Um, I'm going to use the term Kindle, but I'm also going to use the term Talmudim because if you're a follower of Messiah, you aren't a child anymore. You are a disciple of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So welcome, Talmudim. Sorry for you gals, but in Hebrew, if you have a group of guys and gals, the male plural is always used. And so I'm just giving you kind of a sneak preview. I'm opening up for any questions that you may have or any other material. Now, the PowerPoint's kind of done, but that doesn't mean that I can't create a segment 6 in dealing in questions. So if you don't have those on the tip of your tongue right now, here's what you do. You contact me either by going to the Zion's banner page, or actually you can just look up Jeff Kran on Facebook and just in the comments give me questions, or you can leave comments in this video, which would be absolutely wonderful, and we can address them afterwards. Hey, that would just be chapter 6, and so we can go ahead and do that. For those who are watching this afterwards, Facebook Jeff Kran, Facebook Zion's banner, Patreon, or the actual chat, leave comments in this particular video. This is a wonderful opportunity to deal with a key topic as far as your Jewish friends and the gospel. And by the way, I talked to Sam Shimon, and he said, I am glad you are taking on Rabbi Tovia Singer because he is feeding stuff to the Muslims and they are tuning into him. So this is also an opportunity to strike at some of the material that is being fed to Muslims as far as polemics against the gospel. Do remember that in Islam, Jesus did not die for sin. So this is not a chapter that Islam is going to like either. Now, you're not seeing the actual PowerPoint because that unveiling will happen on Wednesday when we use it. But you are seeing the main chapters and you're seeing it's constructed. And so I'm just out there giving people a heads up both on Facebook, and I'm going to post the YouTube on Patreon. because I can do that with YouTube. We're not up for a Vimo subscription yet, but my mind is swirling. And then we're going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to have a good time. So on Wednesday at 7 p.m., I believe Arizona time, but Mountain time, you can tune in, grab your popcorn, and we will be good to go. Thank you so much for those who tuned in. For others that see this, I don't know what the numbers will look like, but this is just fun letting folks know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I set it up. And we just call it Jeff Kran's provisional method of dealing with Isaiah 53. I do see everybody here that's here. I got some neat emoticons. Um, and so I'm going to throw out a quick hi. I've also tested the uh, clips for Tovia using Manycam. You can record it first and play it back to make sure that my ActiveX settings do not create problems. For those who know Messiah, be praying that the enemy doesn't create any glitches, because however this gets out, I think it'll provide some valuable information. So this is an experiment with a behind the scenes look at what I'm doing, how I've done it, and how I've structured it. The first time ever where I'm doing behind the scenes. So the curtain's been pulled away, and you've got a preemptive for folks who went, oh, drats, my schedule doesn't permit it. That's okay. I'm still there. I look at the comments that you guys put in even afterwards, and I'm excited about Wednesday and praying that everything goes well. Thanks much for tuning in. I'm going to give a quick wave. I'm going to do the wave. I could do the wave like this, or I could do the wave like this. Let me put that up there. So we can do the electronic wave, or we can do the manual. What do you call that? Analog wave? Analog wave. Look at that. So now we have technology. We have several ways to wave to people. I know this isn't my usual time, but hey, exciting to see someone. I'm going to add another wave because I got another person. So this is not the broadcast. This is the behind the scenes look at what we're doing. And I am excited. Get people out there to be with us so we could talk about this stuff. And I am also excited about those who watch it after. But it's just so fun having the community there and having people tune in. And this also acts as a heads up. Thanks much. I'm going to get back to work because I still have a lot of good stuff. Hey, um, I'm seeing more folks. So if you came in late, I'm just doing a sneak peek at Wednesday, telling you how I came about it, what study I did, and how excited I am. And also thanking you folks who've been an encouragement. My temperament is such that I really question myself a lot. So I am my own worst critic. So um, I don't know if there are any questions. Um, but as I said, if some come up related to Isaiah 53, um, just to give you a clue so that you might have a few questions that come to mind, Rabbi Singer is going to argue that we just aren't paying attention to the context of Isaiah 53. And if we really weren't paying attention with proper exegesis, we would never come to our conclusions. So that just gives you a heads up as to not his whole argument. You're not hearing him directly, but you know, if that percolates stuff for you, I am like thrilled. Um, if you've had Jewish friends raise issues to Isaiah 53, that'd be good. If you've run into Muslims who will not like this verse, uh, we can go ahead and deal with that. Um, and also, I will put a plug out there for the upcoming Ministry to Muslims conference, which will be having training on the 14th, mosque outreach on the 20th. Me as one of the speakers on the evening of the 20th. And then I fly out to see my new little grandbaby, who is yet to be born, but probably will be before we get out there. And then do some speaking in Vermont and visit our old restaurants. You have not lived until you've had Hoagie's garlic knots. So, uh, no, I hope to get out. Someone asked about La Mirada. I hope to get out to La Mirada either in May. I'm pushing to get this dissertation done, um, or for the Strong Tower Conference. So if I'm out there and you live in La Mirada, we can like get together. We can do some stuff. So that'll be exciting. Um, and Nate says, congrats. Thank you very much. I love the name. My son picked an actual Hebrew name. I'm stuck, just so you know. Kindle. This is, I mean, it's related, right? This is Jewish objections to Isaiah 53. Jewish people in my generation got an English name and a Hebrew name, so I hardly ever get to use my Hebrew name, which is sad because I think God had direct providential control over my Hebrew name. But this little one actually is going to have her Hebrew name as her English name. I'm so excited. And so she will never have the problem of not being able to use her Hebrew name because the only time you use that is when you're in synagogue and you're called up to read the Torah. And so I have the English name that my mom wanted, and then I have a Hebrew name. Uh, so Aliana. So little Aliana is going to be coming into the world. Um, so I'm looking forward to. So that will be after the Muslim conference. So big stuff coming up. I have a dissertation that I am fighting to get done so I can do my defense before I go on this trip. And how do you say Nathaniel? Nathanael. Nathan. Uh, Nathan. There'd probably be a vowel there. Uh, Nathaniel, probably. Nathan is gift. El is a god. So that's kind of how you would do that. I hope I helped. Nate was my pronunciation good enough? But I don't have the vowel pointings in front of my face. So I know the two words, but I don't have the vowel pointings in front of me. Um, Wait a minute. I have a Hebrew New Testament. Let's see if I can grab that baby. Oh, hey, Nathaniel, can you give me the verse real quick? Oh, I was going to say, if you give me the verse real quick, I can read it in the actual Hebrew and give you the exact pronunciation. Now, let me do this. Hmm, I'll look that up because I can actually give it to you. I got a Hebrew New Testament right here, and so I can go ahead and look that up. Oh, John 1. Okay, let me pull that up there. That'd be fun. When I get requests like that, I love names and I love name meanings. I did a summer camp for kids, and I told them all what their names meant to encourage them because I don't know, I'm weird. I think God sometimes has a lot to do with providentially controlling things like that, and then He's really in charge, and so that like excites me. Um, I'm looking through real quick, so I'm not ignoring anybody, um, but it's a little trick here. Might have to be after one because you've got the wedding in Cana right there. That which is born of flesh is flesh. That's Nicodemus in 2. I don't think he calls his disciples in 1. I may have to wait. Yes, it is. It's in 145. I got it. Nathanael. Nathanael. So I wasn't bad. I thought there might be a vowel marking in there. Nathanael. Nathaniel. Nathanael. Okay. All right. So we got Spear Brave. That's cool. There's something to live up to be bold and brave in the Lord. I love that. Radical Love. I got to meet you. Uh, and I'm drawing a blank because I'm so used to knowing you as Radical Love. I'd be like going down the street and I'd like see you and it'd be like, wow, Radical Love is like walking by. So sometimes, um, that kind of happens. So that's pretty cool. So sometimes I don't know the English names because you guys are so creative. Uh, and then sometimes there are names, if I see a name that I'm not used to, I like go look it up. It's like, wow, a new name for me to know the meaning of. So that's fun. Yeah, I did meet Radical Love, and I like totally blanked on her name tag. It's like she's forever going to be like ingrained as Radical Love in my mind. So she'd like have to tell me again because it's like it's Radical Love. So um, you know what? Actually, the funny thing about it is you can transliterate names, or you can find. You know what happened? My mom ended up remarrying, and she married a guy who wasn't Jewish. And what happened was um, they figured out what his name meant, and then they translated it to a Hebrew name that meant the same thing. So that's just fun. Uh, yeah, agape is a wonderful, wonderful name, but I don't know the Greek for radical. So this is where I'm kind of at. I don't know the Greek for radical. I can do agape though. I can even type agape. I should be able to type agape. Wow. Thank you. There we go. G should be. There we go. Agapeo. Eh. It's doing a funny thing with the final sigma and stuff. Oh well. I'm trying to use my Greek keyboard and be clever. Um, so that is cool. So it has been great to give you this update. Again, if you have questions that start to get sparked because of where we're going and the chapters, uh, Facebook comments, Facebook Jeff Kran, you can find me. Facebook Zion's banner or even Patreon because this will be posted. Uh, uh, let me type something in. So I was asked when I'm going to California. Uh, I think Jesus may allow it. There are two possible times that the Lord God may allow me to be in California this year, and I don't know which one. So um, that's kind of where we're at. By the way, if you see the thing to Michael Vlach here in the description, that's because I built this off the previous one. Uh, but that's okay. It's a great book. Strong Tower. Let me get you that. Someone asked about the Strong Tower Conference. If you're in California, I'm going to recommend the Strong Tower Conference to you. I don't have it on my calendar yet because I haven't got to confirm speaking wise. I know that George Saig would really like me to be done with the dissertation. Um, Strong Tower Conference in 2020 looks to be September 12th and 13th. Um, and I visited that page to check the dates. So be thinking September 12th and 13th. After I get through this, I can start talking to George about promos for the Strong Tower Conference. So, okie dokie. Well, I'm going to get back to studying because I teach twice tomorrow, the Apologetics Club, and then Sunday school. And then I got a few other things. I really want to visit apologetics conference. Okay, I got to ask because I'm curious where people live. So, so, the only thing I can say is if there's no apologetics conference available, um, I do church speaking. So that doesn't mean you have to have me, but it's fun. I'd be on your home turf meeting your folks and seeing where you attend. Wow, that'd be cool. Start like getting places where people are. Nate and some of the others had to come all the way down to Phoenix, Arizona. Um, and so it would be fun someday to end up in your neighborhood. I tried it with uh, with Becky. Whoa, cool. Um, hey, but we're going international here. Cool. We got somebody from further away than like Vermont. So that's cool. That is too neat. You probably get to see some really cool animals there. I mean, I know all sorts of interesting things live in the Galapagos Islands, so that is cool. Even more interesting things than live in Phoenix. Hopefully not like scorpions. My family has an aversion to scorpions. I actually don't like arachnids. The whole spider family has to change when the creation's fixed. Because I'm really not into arachnids. Hey, someone else came. So this was, if you're tuning in late, okay, it's kind of like, you went and you got popcorn and you came into the TV show late. This was a behind the scenes look at Wednesday. So if you missed the behind the scenes part, go look at the behind the scenes. This is fun, just sharing how I do this stuff. Um, um, and so I went over the main chapters of what we'll be dealing with. Oh, ha, okay. Los Angeles, okay. Um, LA, I get to. Do you know the school that I'm getting my doctorate and got my master's in is in La Mirada, and so it's near LA. I haven't gone into LA much itself. Anaheim, Bellflower. I've hung around Anaheim and Bellflower, and they always do their graduation ceremonies at Knoxbury Farm. So if you want a really cool night before commencement, get your hood ceremony, Knoxbury Farm is the place to have it. And that came complete with a dinner. So um, I was all excited. Now the only international person I have is from LA. Now now see this is like how do you handle this? Because there are a few Arizona folks that consider California virtually another country. Um, so California's got a little bit of a name to it here because some of the Arizona folks have disagreed with some of the California folks. But only 5 hours away. I can do LA in about 5.5 hours, right straight across Phoenix, which is about halfway over, and then in through Quartzsite and Blythe. Hey, my thing says that our streaming's beginning to go, which means that maybe Hoosier. Hey, Hoosier, we almost got to visit Becky. Who's your? Now I'm having tongue problems. Hoosier counts. You are the a neighboring state to Illinois, which is where I grew up. So I'm a Midwest kid. I'm a Midwest kid in the desert. You know my standard joke? Jews in the desert. Who knew? So if I come speak at a church, I kind of make some fun out of that. Um, yeah, no, I know Indiana well. My sister's, now there's a story behind that, but let's just say Crown Point was a place that you could like run off to get married. If you wanted to elope, you'd go to Crown Point, Indiana. Um, and I have friends in Indianapolis, and one of our churches, in fact, my son-in-law is going to end up being in Peru, Indiana. So I may see more of Peru. So maybe we can make something work out. Um, but I know a lot of folks in Indiana. So, okay. Well, I'm getting to know you guys better. Um, so that is really cool and getting to communicate with you. I never know in Facebook how this like personal stuff plays, you know. But uh, yeah, I got to go back to Peru for my daughter's wedding. So I've had a new first grandchild, and I've got a wedding this year of one of my daughters. So it's a big year for family this year. So I have to go back there in September. She'll be getting married in Peru, Indiana. She will leave the desert community here, and she will go back to the Midwest and learn to enjoy that climate that she hasn't experienced for a long time. So, well, oh, Missouri. I've been to Missouri. I've spoken to two places in Missouri, and Carbondale, Illinois, which is the school I went to for my undergrad, was 2 hours away from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. So if we cross the yeah, I think it's the river there, we were in Missouri. So yeah, I remember visiting Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and I've been to Missouri. Um, yeah, Kansas City straddles Kansas and Missouri, and I've been on the Missouri side. I don't know how that happened. So, well, guys, I'm probably going to get back to it. Feel free to hit the like button. YouTube really likes that. I know this is a preview. I may do more of these though. I'd really be fun to share with you guys how I went about it and what we're breaking down and give you some background before the Wednesday and then plan through, what the talking points are going to be, and then maybe what the sections of the video are going to be. Maybe what I thought when I first experienced viewing the detractors video and sharing that behind the scenes stuff. Um, so that might be just kind of fun for our community. Hi, a day in the life of preparing for a Wednesday, sort of thing. Yep. I'm feeling like my wife. Um, I'm trying to compare, but differences in culture. But I'm going to say bye for now. Hope to see you Wednesday.